Okay.
You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa. So, good evening, everyone, ladies, gentlemen, Africans at home and abroad. Today is the second day of this update, and also we have very exciting information and updates to tell you. And tonight, I also have in the studio with me Queen Sister Vema Bentley Cows, who is an activist and a supporter and a leader to support the youth on the continent get through with building the Africa we want. So apart from just breaking the updates about the festival cancellation, we are really here today to move forward to say events or no events, we have to get back to work on the Pan African Daily. So if you're joining us wherever you're watching us today, please make sure you share this conversation to reach to everyone. I already see a lot of you that are joining the stream tonight. That's a very good sign. Each time we go live, we are already on 250, 300, 500 people watching right now. We congratulate you for your support each time we go live. Yes, because it's all about the Africa we want. It's all about motivating you, young people, youths on the continent to take responsibility and to own the Africa that you have and that you have. There's a lot of opportunities, particularly now, even though there are challenges, a lot of challenges still on the continent, what we have to do, but we can assure you that this is the time for Africa, and the youth of Africa has the responsibility to take back the responsibility to build the Africa that we want. Now we already see that the world is closing up. They are not giving you visas to travel for events like this, or they are manipulating the system so that you don't get out of Africa. And even if you get out of Africa, either you have challenges crossing the borders. And the question is, why do we even need to leave home? What is it that the youth of Africa need to build the continent that they want? I mean, we look at all the civilizations, we look at all the nations, we see the engagement of the leaders supporting the youth. And the question is, why is the leadership of Africa so weak not to take responsibility for its youth that they have to flee the continent in search of better resources or better lives out of the continent? So here with me in the studio, I have a sister in the diaspora who is so passionate to say we have to empower the youth. The diaspora has to take the responsibility to make sure that they go back home, they bring the skills, and those that are not able or in the position to move, they can support the young people on the continent to build the continent that we want. So, sister, over to you. What is this passion? What is the passion in you that you say Africa's youth are the generation of the future? They are intelligent, they are smart, they are motivated, they are creative, and they only need the support that they deserve to move the continent forward. Over to you.
Yes. Well, thank you. Um, the thing about it is that Africa is the paradise of. We are the ones in the center of the earth. All other continents pulled away from Africa. That means something. It means something to be born. Our heritage is the greatest heritage on earth. We are the ones that were given this place, the center. We are the one that was given this world. So now, when our youths are not ready to take over and be empowered with the love of Africa, to make sure that your mother and your father, your elders can have peace and quiet and food. If you all are not willing to stand up for that, then you know what? What chance do we have? So now when you don't have anything but the will to do it, we are there to empower you, to give you the resources you need to get the job done. And that is our goal as women, as African women. We are the mothers. We are the ones that have to make sure that our children are well supplied because they have the desire. Our young executives are working with just the passion to work with very little money, but they have such a passion that you know what, they deserve to have the best. So that's what we're asking everyone to help us bring our country to the country that everyone wants to come to it. Even though we should make sure that Africans are taken care of first, starting with the youth, empower the youth, and then we have saved Africa.
Correct. I mean, you are in the diaspora, but you've been to the continent a couple of times because there are a lot of stereotyping as if, Africans are just desperate, as if they are fleeing their country, as if there's just nothing on that continent. And this narrative is the narrative that, it's a propaganda, as a matter of fact. But that
Yes.
if Africans and youths on the continent, even the diaspora everywhere, are giving the proper justice in the systems that they live in, they would do a marvelous job. They will beat every other system, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. Yes, because we are given, because we are melanated people, that with that melanin come intelligent and also spiritual knowledge. And the thing about it, we have everything we need already given to us. The ones that are here in this time, you know what? You came through, you passed millions of others that wanted to get here. Okay, you were chosen at this time to be here. You have to answer the call. The call is we are here to build Africa, and as one, we can do it. So the thing about it is that Africans, I've been going to Africa since 1990, and I've been to about 7 different places in Africa. And when I see the youth there asking for money, they have no idea of how to make money. The system is set up to keep them. See, if you think poor, you'll be poor. If you can see yourself great, and this is why we need to educate Africans of the power that they have when they know who they are and why they are Africans. To be proud to be African, that gives you, like the Germans. Germans are so proud to be Germans. They're so proud, and you know what? We are more powerful physically and mentally. We are the ones that invented everything that helped mankind. Everything, because we have melanin in us, the God gene that gives us the knowledge, the wisdom, and the creativity to take care of the world. So we need our young people, our scientists. We need our young people to stop going to education systems that don't even teach them how to have skills to make money. Our schools have to be turned into skill, to teach them how to use their hand and their mind and their heart to improve Africa. We have all the natural resources. No African child should be without, because we were given from the Creator everything we need. All we have to do is wake up, open our heart, fall in love with Africa. No, I will not leave my land. When you leave Africa, you'd have no protection. Okay, you're just on your own because you have deserted your mission to take care of Africa, make sure Africa rise. This is our call, and this is the call. This is what the young people are beginning to answer. So we are on the right track. As long as we can have support for them, then they can go farther than just with the will. The will has to also be financed. And when we can show them that they can actually have a great life in Africa, you don't have to have all those extravagant things that the West offer us, the flashy things. All we need to do is be able to have our own place that we can grow our own food, that we can share with our neighbors, that we can start to loving ourselves, that we can love our neighbors.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much, sister. I mean, you said something yesterday, and that was very pertinent. Not just yesterday, you called me and you said, I have a piece of land in on the continent and in Ghana. I want to offer it to the young people to go get into agriculture. Now,
Yeah.
agriculture is the biggest potential that Africa has, and its youth, when they get engaged into this sector, I think the Africa will feed the world, not just even only Africa.
Yeah.
But another challenge that is coming up is the genetically modified seeds that are coming from abroad, and this is causing one of the biggest challenge on the continent, isn't it?
The what, please? I didn't understand.
I
What
mean,
is
the
it?
modified seed, the seed that we don't use our organic bio seed
Oh yeah, this yeah,
culture.
yeah.
Yes,
The genetically modified
yes,
plastic food we're getting now. Africa has
mhm,
to stop eating that because actually it's made to kill your melanin. You know, you become like a robot. That food is poisonous to us. You know, we cannot eat the food that everyone else eat. We have to eat the food naturally from our land. We have to grow our food naturally, and we have the ability and we have the land to do that. Africa is one of the most fertile lands on earth. So we have to stop importing food that's just killing us. It's impossible. I mean, it's almost unbelievable that we're importing rice, we're importing sugar. What I mean, come on. What's wrong with we have to do it ourselves. We have to turn back to loving Africa. From there, we will be guided and we will know what to do. If we just start loving Africa, stop looking outside. You know, when you come to Europe, uh, you see, like living in Germany, we eat much healthier than people in America. Okay, the food that's poisonous is the food that people cannot afford, for people who cannot afford organic food. You see, so that's mainly us. So if we're living in a European country, their food is healthier. That's why we live longer here and we live healthier in Europe. So now in Africa, we get just the worst food that nobody else really wants to eat. Okay, you don't know what it has in it. We have to demand that we have our own food, growing it, spaces to grow our food, and start to doing it. If you do it with love and all the natural ingredients that we already have, we don't have any problems. We won't have the sickness. We should not have the sickness that other people have because we were given everything we need in Africa to keep us healthy,
mhm.
to keep us healthy.
Wonderful. It is a conversation that no matter how we do it, we're going to be holding this conversation. What is it that youths on the continent need to be able to build the Africa that they want? And we will be opening
Mhm.
up the lines to take your suggestion. What is it actually that you need, that the young people need? Because sometimes you have the impression like you talk about the educational system. That's one of the criteria that researchers are working on scholars to see what kind of education do we have? What do our curriculums on the continent carry? For instance, you see in the history classes, we learn more about the European history than even the African history. And you wonder
Mhm.
why we are leaving the continent to come to Europe. It's just because we African curriculum and the educational system is Europeanized or westernized. So why would an African child live on the continent when they don't even know the minerals and their potentials and their opportunities because they keep studying foreign education? These are all questions that Africans are asking and bringing the debate to the table to like, what do the youth of Africa need? A lot of them are talking about good governance, that the leadership that is in place is not favorable for the young people. Okay.
No,
And the leadership is getting older. But I mean, it's not only in Africa. If you look at the world at large, look at all the presidents. Is any
yeah.
of them getting younger?
No, not at all. But the problem with Africans is that the in like look in Europe, you can only stay on the street, live on the street if you choose to. Okay, they're going to give you a home. Okay, the government's going to give you money, social money, if you don't have a job. So they have a system set up to take care of the people, to make sure that the people don't have to suffer, even if they're older. But the thing about our presidents, they're staying to just the family, the group of people that they surround themselves to protect themselves from the normal people. What was that? Mansa Musa, the richest man that ever lived.
Mm-hmm.
What made him so rich also was his desire to give.
Mm-hmm.
The fact and there was kings before, great leaders that the people could come every day and talk to the kings, talk to the royal house as if they were just like they were on the same level. These are the kings we had before, great kings that made sure that their people was well situated. Okay, to be a leader in Africa and to betray Africans is one of the worst things that can happen to us. But that is more of a reason why we've been living up under this system a very long time. The young people have to get out of anything that doesn't work for them. If you whatever you're doing repeatedly and you're not going forward, that means you're doing something wrong. Because when you do things right, right results will happen, and then you'll be successful. Not only will you be successful, when you go to be successful, that includes success means being able to help someone else. That is success. No, if you have all the big cars, all the big houses, all the land, and you're not helping anyone except your family, you're not successful. In fact, you're
Right.
very poor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's also
So
one
we
thing that,
need, yeah,
yes.
okay, I'm listening. I'm listening.
It's okay. That's also one thing, the solidarity that we talk about. Of course, as the cancellation of the Africa Festival Expo in Tübingen is hitting hard, we see a lot of solidarity coming all across at home and abroad. And people that are actually saying it is a disaster what is going on by the cancellation. I mean, this kind of solidarity is the
Yeah,
same kind of spirit that we talk about Ubuntu.
yeah,
Ubuntu, the spirit of I am because you are. Without me, you cannot exist.
yeah,
And we are facing this situation now where we see Africans rallying around the world, even non-Africans, to be honest, fans and followers, and we call them the African interested, people that are really not Africans by origin, but they so
yeah,
love, cherish this continent more than
yeah.
even some of the origins. And they keep calling, how can we support? How can Africa move ahead? How can we build a system of solidarity that we think? And you're talking about giving. Do you
Mhm.
think that we actually not giving enough to support our young people, to support the continent?
No, we're not giving. We're not giving. We have learned. Most system teach. I mean, you don't learn to give. It's something that you do automatically with as like a hand down from your seeing your parents give. But that we've been so desperate just to have food. It's hard to give out. But if you in the Bible it says is that the woman that gave the most of what was the one who had the least. And the thing about it is that if you can give from your heart, there will always be enough for everyone. Okay, it is not just the president's fault. It is the mentality of African. We have a poor. We cannot see how rich we really are because when your stomach is hurting from not having food, you can't think about anything except the pain. You see, so when you get something, you only want to get yourself full. That is the mistake. The more you give, the more you receive. You can If your hands are closed, you cannot receive anything. And once we learn to start giving, look what we do. We have, like in America example, over $30 million yearly go is made from the African black churches alone. Okay, and in all of those churches, they're situated in the black area mostly, and the whole area around the church, they're dilapidated. They look like really somebody dropped a bomb in them. Why don't they start now? The people wake up and see, look, we got to do something. That is, serving God is not putting your money to giving your money to a preacher uh, to buy a jet with or a Rolls Royce. Serving God is serving mankind. When you begin to serve everyone, you see your neighbors. If you see someone in need, you don't have to wait till they ask you. We have this is African spirit. Africans are born givers. Born givers. We have been just so by what we see on the West. Oh, they look so rich. Listen, we are richer than anyone else. One African child is more richer than any other a king from any other land. You're richer than the kings in your land because you have the power within you to become all you want to be and to bring others in, help them grow. And this, we have to start teaching Africans that we are the ones, the only ones that can save Africa. We're the only one. And to turn back, first start inside your heart. Start, just be thankful that you are an African. Be thankful. Look at yourself and realize the kingdom is within you. You are here to be able to help. You're not here by accident. And so now when we see that, when we begin to love ourselves, we'll love others. Poverty is going to go. We've gotten so used to being living in poverty. Look, if you throw a piece of paper on the street in Germany, you can get a ticket. You can get a ticket for that. You can get a ticket for noise pollution after 10 o'clock. Okay? Why? Because the people want their rest. They work hard and then they want to rest. When they get up, they want to see a clean place. When the place is clean, when your plan is clean, you know what? You're more godly. It is godly to be clean because you're respecting the God that gave you that land. So we have to start and also your neighbors. You feel stronger, you feel healthy when you look around and you see, when you go to the village, it's clean. When you come to the city, okay, you got millions of people there. Nobody really takes care about cleanliness. Okay, why? Because we've gotten used to, and we don't see Africa as a paradise it is. Africa is a paradise on earth, and it starts in our heart. Okay, the system that we have, they're falling apart. They've been there in place. They haven't did us any good. Okay. In fact, they were in place to keep us in this position. Only the youth can bring us up.
Wonderful. Only the youths of Africa has the skills and the capacity, but they need support. And I'm reading a lot of chats in the comment where they say the diaspora should come back home. They are not investing a lot. And we heard one time Professor James Small said, only last year, African Americans spent $1.3 trillion. Imagine if they would invest that money on the continent of Africa.
Yeah, just 10% of it in Africa. Yeah, but that's also because they've been taught away from Africa. A lot of Americans know they are offended if you call them an African. Because we only see African on TV with the children with the flies on the face. We don't know that Africans have mansions beyond mansions. Okay, we don't know that Africans have the ability. Every invention, I'm telling you, the light bulb, the air condition, the stoplight, the heart pacer, the X-ray, the things that make your eyes, the laser. Every one of those things were invented by Africans. The computer, the telephone, the handy, it was all invented. Why were we given those type of creativity? Because we are made in the image of the Creator. That's it. And when we begin to touch into that, and that is done by being in love for who you are. And then the whole world is right inside of you, everything we need. And you know what? When we now come as mothers and started supporting our children, the world changes. The world changes. We are the warriors now. Yes. And our weapons are love. Our weapons are love. Okay. We're not
Mhm.
fighting no war. The battle is already won. All we have to do is recognize it. The battle is already won. Okay, we can be at war, but we are not fighting a physical war. We are fighting for the mind, for the soul of Africa, that to return back to Ma'at, to return back to who you truly are, to your soul, to your soul. Like when they say that Solomon was the richest man on earth. Well, Solomon means a soul of man. So that when the soul of man begin to hunger for the wisdom and the knowledge that brings you up, that makes you richer than someone that have billions of dollars. So we have that in us. We are the children of the sun. And only when Africa rise will the world rise, because we're the only one that can guide them into being who they're supposed to be.
This is deep.
Amen.
Yes, this is actually deep. Now, the young people are actually upset with the leadership and the system, but we are saying, or the mothers that are coming up to say, we want to play a role to support our youth, and it's not about politics. Just focus on your life, on the
Yeah.
skills, on the talent, and we need to know, take stock of what you need to be able to empower yourself. Is it possible? Anything, because the politics design the rules and the measures, and the young people are saying, no matter how we struggle, taxes, injustices, corruption, all these things are the things that are setting back the systems from operation. But we are saying you can do it yourself. Is it possible?
Yeah, it's possible. And if Africans would stop voting those people in, if the youth would stop voting, it would be very impossible for them to keep ruling. If they would give up, like Bobby, what was his name? Bobby Wine,
Mhm.
the young man there.
Uganda,
Um,
yes.
yes. Look. Every African youth should have got behind him. Everyone. When we have young leaders, we need to give everything we have to make sure that they get in position, instead of sitting back being quiet, hoping that your president is going to change their mind. No, they can't change. It takes a heart of love. It takes the love of African to change, to say, no, I have to bring my people up. Every leader that's talking about what they're going to do for Africa, what are they doing for Africa right now? When they have their great meeting, what have they done for Africa? Okay, if you're not doing for Africa to bring Africa up before you get into a position of politics or as a leader, if you're not doing it right now, you won't do it. You'll do even less for Africa when you're there. So you have to come from the youth. Y'all have to come in there and start saying no. Only when there's someone young. Only when there's someone that identify with us, that we know that is willing to help us. And then, speaking of help, we also need donations. Okay, and I would like to ask some of the YouTubers, especially the ones that I know have money, to give us donations. Okay, am I allowed to say a couple names, to call out a couple names that we can have funds?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would like to call out uh, God Billy Carson, one of the richest black men I know. He's rich in his soul. He's a giver. I mean, he's always doing something to give Africans. Dr. Boyce Watkins, he's also a giver. Infinite Waters, also a giver. Dr. Ray Hagen, also a giver. Dr. Philip Shaw, also a giver. Um, Vicky Diller, the voice of Black Americans, Black Magic 363, and Dr. Mumbi. We're asking you all to join us, help us support this mission, and that our youth will be empowered, because you can have a lot of will, but if you don't have money to open doors, because our system is built up like that, it stops the progress. So let us join and help us. We need it. Our men, our kings, our gods have to assist us, and we are on it. We are on it because I know that they will.
Thank you so much, sister. I mean, it's very warm-heartedly to see Africans in the diaspora, mothers rising up to say enough is enough. This has to stop. We
Yes.
see Africans leaving the continent, dying in the Mediterranean, looking for greener pastures. Some really say it. I prefer to die crossing the ocean than staying on the continent. For me, this is the biggest kind of brain damage that youths have. Like they prefer to even die crossing than being on the motherland. I mean, how
Isn't
so
that
sick
terrible?
it is.
Yeah, actually, when you begin to put yourself in a position where it's so bad in Africa, it's so bad in Africa, you can't really think clear than just escaping it. And that is the wrong route, because when you begin to think about plans of escaping Africa, that means that Africa will never get better. Okay. If it's so bad, then you be the change. You have to be the change. And that's what we're here for. We're here to say, you want to change? We'll support you. And this is what we have to do. See, it's not enough women, and this is our time. It's not enough women that's saying, uh, you know what? I have to take care of the children, not just the ones I gave birth to, but the
Yes.
ones that I don't even know. When we started saying that, the men would give us the money. But long as we're enjoying the money just for ourselves and our family, it's going to slow us down. So now I'm calling out to all people that have money to help us bring African youth to empowerment.
Mm-hmm. Absolute, absolute. And you were talking about it's very easy for us to raise a $1 million campaign or 1 million euros to be able to put infrastructures in the countries where our youths are actually motivated, energized to do something, whether it's a
Yeah,
small scale business, and to train our youths mostly on entrepreneurship, how to do business, with the world and also with Africa, because this is
yeah,
some of the things that are missing, dealing with this kind of business where, for instance, Africans cannot even travel because they have limitations of visas. They go to the embassy, they apply for visas, and they deny you a visa, but they don't refund you money, right? And they cut
yeah,
off your money, and they don't give you your visa. I mean, this
yeah,
is kind of a business that is unfair. You don't give me a
mm,
visa and you take the visa fee for what?
yeah. Because they can do it, and because we have no one to back it up and to stop it. And I just want to also mention uh, God Kareem with the 4 cycles of life. He
Mhm.
just moved to Ghana, and I was seeing the video. He said to happen Africa, and he's a very giving person. And the thing about it is that these are people that have the skill. They're coming to Africa to help build Africa. A lot of African Americans are now coming to Africa to build Africa. We just have to contact them and let them know that we have plans. Without young executives, this is the way to start to rebuilding Africa. And so they need to have skills that one thing that's Africans in America. Who is that?
It's okay.
Excuse me,
You're
please.
visible. We see you. Yes.
Uh, one.
All right. I think she's
Yeah.
freezing.
Yeah. Hmm.
Hello. Yes.
Yes. One thing about it is that African in America, because they were in a land where a lot of literature was taken from Africa, from the pyramid texts, everything that they're doing now, all the things that they're using to hold us down, They actually got it from African books, the scripts. Everything they're using what they call what we say black magic. You know, things that happen, and that came about also, like in Ireland when they had the what we call the sand people, or the pygmy people, the small people that were there using herbs to heal all these European with sickness, and the Europeans begin to label that as black magic. And the thing about it is that Africa has everything it needs to help itself, except we are living in a system built on money, and without money it's almost impossible to help. So the thing about it is that what we have to do is find a way to get them the supplies, like walking door to door. Different companies, they got machines that Africans can use. Schools, they have books. We don't want their books, we want their machines. We want our own books. We need to start training African skills that are always in use. Not only digital skills, that's very important, but also skills like plumbing, electricity, mechanic. We need to train them in things that will keep the land. How do we build the land? How do we build? Just like Egypt was built. It was built not by slaves, willing people that were willing, black people that were willing, small people that were willing, and saw this, put their mind together and knew that there was nothing that could stop us when we were together. Okay, we are the ones who built the whole world. Every city is built on the natural resources from Africa. Everything you see built. The idea of an automobile, that was a black brothers that invented that. Okay, everything they built was based on the human body. Okay, that's just how intelligent and spiritual Africans are. And so there's not we built. We're the only people that built a world that is still existing, showing it's still there. No one else can do what Africans did. And Africans still have the ability now to build a pyramid, but a pyramid of people rising. That's what we have the chance to do. That knowledge is in us. It's in us. It's in our DNA. We have our ancestral knowledge. All we have to do is return back to it. And that's one reason why we don't learn about our ancestors. There's too much power in that. But that was the way that the Africans in Haiti beat the European biggest army, Napoleon. That is why they're suffering now, because they beat that army using spiritual force. And spiritual really means returning to yourself in your heart, to begin to love Africa and be thankful that you're Africa. Then that power will flow through you because it's in you.
I have a comment in the chat saying Africa actually does not need any aid. If Africans would actually put their resources together, they wouldn't be needing any support from foreign development investors or whatever they call it.
Very right.
Yes, another issue is the consumption, because I think, Sister Vanna, and from what others are writing, even the skills that we're talking about are available: mechanics, handwork, tailoring, just basic skills. But the problem, look at China in Africa. Africans believe in Western brands, like you talk about rice. Why do we import rice? Kenya produces rice, Ghana, Cameroon, every part of the continent produces rice. But why would you buy a Chinese rice rather than buying a rice that is made by an indigenous? It's all, like you said, in the mindset of the people that has been corrupted to think that Africa is not capable, but everything Western or everything non-African is best for them. How do we solve that? Education.
Yeah, education. To know that only the best fruit, the best everything grows in Africa, because it's the closest to the sun. Everything grows in Africa, the best. But we just been taught away. And when we have money, we want to have something with a name brand on from Europe. That's so dumb. That's so dumb, because the thing about it, actually, you're like slapping in the face of your mother and your father. I'm not saying don't buy a pair of Nikes or something like that, but only buy a pair of Nikes when you know that your neighbor has something to eat. Don't just buy them because you have the money to buy them. Take care about the people that are surrounding you. Because if every African would just give a little bit of what they have, 10%, like the church, just give 10% of what you have to your neighbors, the ones you know. Go to a village and make sure that they have clean water. Go to a village and make sure that they have food. Don't, like you see our movie stars, our entertainers. It's not just a politician with the mindset of just this is for me, this is for me. No, everyone that make money. Why don't we just turn back and give some of that money to our people? Give it to her. Go to your village. You came from a village. Go to your village. Start building it up. I was reading that about Mercy Johnson. She, what she's doing for her village. But there's so many people that Africa doesn't need outside help. We don't need anything, because everything they bringing us is not good for us. They're taking our minerals, selling them back to us, and we're getting pennies for it. The African children don't even know that they have minerals. When we start learning how to do our own mining, then Africa is free. When Africa wanted to wear something made by an African instead of something made by someone out of Africa. When you begin to love your material, even African material is not made by Africans. We buy African material here in Europe. I think it's made by the Indians. It's coming from China or something like that. The thing about it is all our skills have been just shut down. When I was talking about my mother-in-law, my African mother-in-law being healed, and I said so often, let's take her to a native African doctor, a natural doctor. And it took years to get her to go to an African doctor. And after she started going to an African doctor, she was healed from diabetes, which she's had for a very long time, even taking that shot every time she has to take it. But she was healed in I think it was like about a month and a half. No more diabetes medicine. No more diabetes medicine. African natural doctors can't even make money because we want to take the foreign medicine. We don't want to. We don't trust our own, what God has given us growing from the earth to heal us. And because the African natural healers don't have people coming to them, when they get people, they do have to charge. They have to charge maybe over, because we don't support them. We just have to turn back to Mother Africa. We have to understand, put it in our heart. This is our mama land. This is the land that we're given. When we understand that, then we'll stop asking for handout. We won't need no handout. We won't even want to accept handouts. This is what it takes.
Thank you so very much. I mean, I've known you for this while, and I see your passion. And the only thing that you say, I'm living now on earth to realize, is to give the African youth a chance. The chance that we elders failed, the chance that leaders have failed this continent, the chance that even mothers don't even have the feeling, or they're so tired. Children are being raped, children are being stolen, children are being escorted. We see every day these things on the news, children that are being stolen in Africa by these so-called people that say they're going to help Africa. And no government is taking any responsibility. And Africans are asking questions every day. When is this going to happen differently?
Yeah, we have to follow like the women's and Indians. They start picking up sticks to keep the men from attacking them, and they start attacking back. And also they started farming, and they started making sure that their neighbors had food. We have to be like that. We can't just have a lot of land, a lot of whatever we have, and not share it with Africans, because you're not an African if you do that. If you're not sharing, you can be dark as you want to be. But if you're not giving, what all those millionaires in Africa, all those billionaires in Africa. Give, go out and take care of villages. Give around that land become fertile again. Stop holding the blessings back that even the common person can have, that they deserve. And so when we get the feeling that when our mind has been westernized, then that means we're acting just like them. In fact, we are even more European than a lot of Africans are. And the African, most of the children that come here and go to school here, they don't want to come back to Africa. That's another thing. They don't want to come back to Africa. You know what? I don't blame them. It takes a lot to come back to Africa in the condition Africa is in. When you can live in peace and health here in another land. But you have to have a strong love really to go in Africa and to want to live in Africa. If you don't have that, Africa will keep suffering. Start helping yourself. Then when you help yourself, help your neighbor. Know that, wow, I'm doing the work that I was created to do. Everyone here in this time was supposed to be here in this time. Everyone in this time now has a calling to be greater than what they are. And we have the ability. It's all within us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, we have the project of Elder Marvin, $1 for Africa, $1, one Africa. I mean, we've also seen those kind of projects in the diaspora where a solidarity call for $1 or for €1 or for one everything, one in francs or a CFA, one in Tanzania or shillings or stuff like that. Why is it so difficult that we cannot mobilize ourselves, Africans at home and abroad, and just put a $1 collection? I mean, we would start industries and stuff like that. Why is it so difficult? Because of the divisiveness or the mentality? Why do we not trust that we can do it?
Yeah. Well, we're on our way to that because you're the one that came up with that idea. So, idea comes in the right time. People never even thought about that. And it's such a simple way to help Africans. If we start here in the diaspora, asking everyone that we meet, give me $1 for Africa. It will take no time to have enough money to make great moves. In Africa, when you go and buy a piece of food from someone on the street or buy something, the people that are walking in the street selling things, if you buy something that costs whatever your money is, give them an extra $1. Give it to them. When you see the beggars in the street, don't just give them a few cents. Give them $1 if you have it. Start giving just $1, $1, or whatever your money is. Just give it freely. So now we're beginning to bless. We're beginning to have the good spirits, the Bantu spirit with us, and it grows. So you started this $1 thing, and you know what? It takes time for it to take hold, but it's on its way. It's on its way. And the thing about it is that all we have to do is just keep going. Africans start collecting $1 for Africa.
There's a comment where Sister Mary was saying the first thing that we need to do is to first of all find our love again, that we lost the love for one another. Until today, that love is not there. No matter what we do, no matter good intentions that we have, Africans don't have that love among themselves. We don't trust each other. We don't even trust that we can really start a campaign like this. And we are saying on the Pan-African Daily, we would have to do what other prophets or leaders are saying, a million march, but we're doing $1 million campaign for Africans worldwide. It can work. Why are just we not doing it?
Yeah, we on our way. You brought it here, and that is a perfect idea. We're on our way. We never even thought about it. You thought about it. It's your baby. And you know what? It takes time for it to grow. Because actually when you give, my God, you're so happy to be able to give. You really, you're giving to yourself also. That's why it says it's better to give than to receive. Because when you're giving, you're not only often opening your hand, you're opening your heart. It takes a heart of love, like she just said. It takes love. It takes loving your neighbor like you love yourself. It takes wanting to see Africa be the land it's on earth to be. Africa, even after all the things that has happened to Africa for hundreds and thousands of years. Okay, it didn't just happen 400 years ago when we came to America. In fact, I'm willing to say 80 to 90% of the Africans that are in America did not come directly from Africa. They were already in Africa over 80,000 years ago. And so they took those Africans that were there, plus the Moors that were ran out of Europe that came to Africa. A lot of them, they also enslaved the Native Americans, what they're called the Indians now. Those are not the true Americans. The Americans are the ones that are black like we are. They're the true Americans, okay? And in fact, that word is an African word I was telling you. The thing about it is that we have been robbed of everything. All the books you read, written by Europeans, are filled with lies to keep Africa from knowing who they really are. All the books, all the gods that they have been given to you are nothing but paper gods. They cannot come out of the paper. So they can't help you because the true God is within you. It's within us. We are the living example. We are the what do you call that? The image. The image has to be doing. And that's what we're doing now. We're reflecting the image of what a true God is. God is giving. The word God is one less good. Good is one more over God. God is good. So the God inside of us, get in touch with that one. Get in touch with that one. And then we will start giving. You know what? Giving will become so natural. You won't even think about giving. You don't even think about giving. You just give. You don't wait for someone to be almost at the point of death or can't do anything. And a lot of Africans are dying because they don't have love. They don't have someone to love them, and they don't give their they don't have someone to say, here's food for you. I'll hold your head. I'll take your hand. This is what we're doing. We're healing this. We're healing this. Mm-hmm. You have brought ideas to Africans that we never even thought about.
I think it's a collective. It's really a collective because, like what I think Elder Marvin is saying, we will never unite because unity starts with love. And the first thing that we have to do is to love. But the question is always, love has been misinterpreted in a lot. I know that's another topic for a day. People understand love not from the principles of my art. Because if I look at our ancient African history and traditions, I mean, love was not even a word. It was just there. And this giving and sharing is a natural thing. Like Africans are even upset at the level of the village if they give you something and you don't take. If you visit somebody at home and they serve you food, you don't eat. It's an abuse for African. Not to, the act of giving is a natural thing. So, but the confusion in the mathematics, in the Western theology of love, and when we keep saying all the time, we don't love, we don't unite, it is still a little bit contradictory. What actually is love?
Love is an action word. Love is shown. Love is not spoken. You can say you love all you want. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't put any food in someone's mouth. But when you begin to, you can only give out of love, first of all. When you know that a person has love when they are a giver. A person that says love, 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 that means nothing. That's an artificial love. Okay, you might as well say, bet the ball, or hey, 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 hey. That it's the same thing. When you say I love you, that means nothing. You don't have to tell a person you love them when you are showing love. Love is an action word. Yeah, yeah, that's what it is. Love is an action word. When we start giving, then we know we start loving. When we look at ourselves and say, "What did I do today that was in love?" What like when you giving something because you have been asked to give? That's not love. You're giving out of duty, and you're giving out of fear. You're not giving out of love in the whole in knowing that, oh wow, if I give them a little bit, I'm gonna help them, and also I'm helping myself. That is love. That is love is an action word. If someone's saying they love, but they can see their neighbor go to bed hungry, hear their children crying for something to eat, not having clean water, that's not love. That's not love. That is a piece of plastic. I'm sorry.
Cheryl says, politics need to be taught as from kindergarten in Africa. Africans need to know
Politics.
the rule and the
Okay, excuse
game
me.
of politics. It's okay. I'm just
Yeah,
repeating. He says,
yeah.
African children need to be taught politics as from kindergarten. It has to be on the
Mhm.
curriculum because the whole world is run by politicians. The system is run and controlled by greedy politicians. The
Yeah.
system's been manipulated. The people are manipulated against each other. So why don't we think that issues like politics, money, science, technology should start at a kindergarten level? Even the principles of my art, why should they not start at kindergarten? Not when we go to
Yeah. But
university, then they say choose something is coming now, they say STEM or this and that. What is that?
when I understand what Sister Cheryl is saying, that we can train them from very young. But when we train our children with the principles of my art, we don't need politics. We won't need. You don't need jails for people that don't commit crime. You don't need laws for righteous people. They didn't have all these laws. They didn't have to say, I forgive you, because people didn't do. They lived as one. Africans lived as one. They did not have to say, oh, forgive me, because they didn't think about doing something wrong. It's not African nature to be greedy. It's non-African to be greedy. Okay? That is a learned trade. We didn't get that from our mothers. And if we did get it from our mothers, they learned it from the Europeans. We are the only people on earth that always have forgiving. But the thing about it is, we don't forgive ourselves, and then we don't forgive our neighbors. We don't forgive those that look like us. And we don't give those. When we learn Ma'at, that's how they lived before. There was nobody breaking in your house. There was nobody hungry. There was nobody sick. They invited death because they knew that when it was time to die, that they had already did what they came on earth to do. We
Mhm.
don't need politics for righteous people. We need to learn the righteousness of being an African. My, yeah,
Wonderful,
yeah,
wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so very much for this empowerment show, Sister Queen. You are, I mean, a Queen Mother of Africa. Everybody is saying this is the time and the time of the African queens, the Amazons, the Aquarius, and that women are actually waking up to be the mothers of Africa, the mothers of humanity. That was meant to be. Do you have that feeling? I mean, we see the connection, we see the spirit rising. Do you
yeah,
have that feeling as well?
yeah. You come on. That's why you're here. You know, you brought out something in me that I really never even thought I would be like on a show like this uh, to represent Africa. Because the thing about it is that I got such a great life here in Germany, but it was my German ex-husband that took me in 1990 to Africa. I didn't even want to go, and he said, let's go to Kenya. And you know, when I went there, I really met love. I really did. Because even though, you know, they want $1 or whatever you can give them, but they actually gave me a feeling of being at home. Now here you come with your show, Building Up Africa and Uniting Africa. You know, this is I mean, you're pioneering. You're pioneering, and it actually takes women now to do this. It actually, the men can assist us, but it takes women because we are the ones that feel. We are the ones that move on love. We're the spiritual ones. The African men always knew that the woman was more spiritual than him. That's why the women were in charge. And when they were in charge, it was perfect. It was perfect. So now this is our time to be there. And that's why you're here. And that's what you are inspiring so many women and men to stand up for Africa. Yeah.
It's our
Yep.
duty, I think, and yes, really, it's a duty for us. Someone has to to stand up. Someone has to be the channel, and you also are. You are mobilizing women. I saw only in this small process that we wanted to put up this event, this festival. I mean, you even paid, to get the posters, paid to do the
Yeah.
advertisement, mobilizing your community in Munich, all the African barracks, the churches, the donors, and saying, we must do it. It's the time for Africa. And
Yeah.
this kind of a spirit. And I see a sister writing here in the comments, like, then let's just start doing shows only for fundraising.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to raise funds, and the people will willingly give it to us because we're doing the right thing. There's a lot of right people. There's a lot of people with money that wants an opportunity to help something like this. And so we're asking them to, help us because we're on our way.
Mhm.
And we will have everything we need. We will have everything we need. And that we have a group of young executives that got the will to change the face of Africa. This is, we can't get it no better. We can't get it no better. We just start in our communities, just raising. If you just raise, it doesn't have to be $1. Just raise pennies. When we start, if they don't have it, just put a little bit away. Put a little bit away for this great cause.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's on. The ball is rolling. The ball is rolling. Africa is no more poor. Africa is no more poor. We just have to realize just how rich we are.
Sister Flo Edith is making a very good comment here when she says Africa loses over 22 billion US in educated Black people migrating to diaspora, and the West profits from this as all our professionals are not home. Like the brain, this is about the brain drain. Like, they grow up on the continent, they study there, but most of them wander here and then put that know-how here. I mean, how
Yeah,
much more can the losses and the damages done
yeah,
be compensated?
yeah. Well, you know what? That's changing also because when I was in America last time, about 4 or 5 years ago, when the hospital, they were all African doctors and nurses there. There was hardly any white Americans in the hospital, if there were a few on staff, but most of them were Nigerian, Ghanaian, and different doctors from Africa there, in their hospitals. Africans have got to come back with that skill. They have got to come back with their skill because even though your family, your children have it good, you got to think, you know what? Africa is your homeland. If Africa is not, if you didn't have Africa, you could never have have the brain to become so great in another land. Build up Africa. We're on our way. This is the beginning of Africa returning to the greatness it is and was to be. Just
I mean,
having these discussion now is something brand new.
I find a comment here very, very appalling, and I would like to. Bobby J say it's a shame to the French people. Their government taking millions of dollars from poor countries like Haiti, paying compensation for French soldiers that was killed in that war. Haitian people are still paying as we speak. Imagine this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But this is
Yeah,
not only about Haiti. We see a lot of African governments also doing that.
yeah,
So that's why
yeah.
the tactic or the strategy of fundraising, it's one of the a strategy that we think would help. Act for News said $1 times that's 1 million Africans each week. You can imagine how much money we're going to raise to empower
Yeah,
our young people, to build skills, to build
yeah.
industries, to industrialize the African continent and its people.
That's my brother. He keeps
This is so true, people. We want to
man.
thank all of you for joining and have been on this very, very pertinent and relevant topic because, like, we've been distracted. I mean, we've been putting our effort trying to organize the Africa Festival in Europe or in Tübingen, Germany. And that was one of our objectives, Sister Vena. Our objective
Mhm,
was to raise a lot of funding through this event so that we can put as a starting budget for the young
mhm,
executives on the continent, for the youth
mhm.
to buy equipments, to do trainings, to open educational systems, to open kindergartens and put workshops. And we really are still looking on this event because I
Mhm.
mean, it's not just only about showing our culture and stuff, things like that, but we are starting $1 million campaign in Germany, in
Yeah,
America, in the Caribbean, and on the continent. It is
yeah,
done, but we have to do it. We
yeah.
have to put the
That's right.
structures in to do it. And I
Yeah,
can see in the chat everybody saying yes. Why not? The French
yeah,
women rose up during the French Revolution just because of the price increase in bread.
yeah.
And the French Revolution started. So
Mhm.
what is Africa waiting to start a revolution because of the
Yeah,
price, because of the joblessness of its youth?
that's right.
And to say we want to raise a money to be able to support our systems and our young people.
Yeah, and we are on our way. You're gonna be you're gonna once we now get the first landslide, then you'll know that it's exactly the way it's supposed to be going. Okay, first you had to give us the idea. Okay, now that idea is growing, and you can see in your comments that it's accepted by the people.
Mhm. Absolutely. There are 11.2 billion of US on the continent alone. 100 million of us is less than 10%. So imagine a $1 each. We are going to elevate our people from poverty, build roads, construct the village, provide drinking water, and empower our people to create jobs for themselves.
Yeah,
True.
it's true. I'm going to start every one of my customers there that buy flowers, they will give $1. Every one. All I have to do is ask them for $1 or €1 to give $1 because that's one of the best ideas that has come to Africa, and it's one of the best that's in this century. Yeah, that's right. And if each one of us that are involved just begin to ask people, give us $1, give us $1, and we'll make the changes that need to be made. And we're on our way. We didn't have the idea. It takes a love for Africa, the that insists on making Africa great as it's supposed to be. Yeah.
Thank you so very much. I think this was very quite educative, and I see a lot of people really loving this. They are happy that we're getting back on the Pan African Daily with really strategic topics that really concern us. Like we just
Yeah,
drink water and mind our African business and move ahead to put the steps instead of talking, talking, talking. Let's just start one thing after the other.
yeah,
Fundraising, we are agreeing that if we start today and if we say we put $1 every week, it's not even going to be a $5 in a month or a €5 in a month. That we
yeah,
say every day we put a euro or a dollar in every a currency that we have. We must have been counting. This is 2 years on the Pan African Daily. Imagine we do that. Would have been hitting a million.
yeah. Over, over. Because there's enough people that's willing to give that dollar. Yeah, it's
Thank you so
enough
very much,
people.
Sister Queen. I think we are rounding up with this broadcast for tonight. We'll be live again tomorrow with empowering and motivating. Um, 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 what do I want to say? Ideas and lectures and professors that will be coming to say, yes, this is the new beginning. We had been talking about our challenges, we had been talking about solutions, but now we have to get to work. We have to make
Yeah,
sure that we put our money where it's needed so that we can start putting those infrastructures. We
yeah,
don't need to say, oh, we are divided. Who is going to control the money? What structures? But we just have to start doing something.
yeah,
Something has
yeah.
to be
So,
done, and as
yeah.
fast as possible.
Well, you started it, and so now we got to just go on, keep going on this road. This is the mission now. Our mission now is to collect those dollars. Yeah, when we start collecting the dollars, you know what? It's gonna be so. It's gonna catch. It's gonna be like a wildfire.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah,
so much. And we also have other services that we can do to do the fundraising. We see a lot of people asking information to those on the continent. And we also are saying the Pan African Daily and all our initiatives should be relocating to the continent to start the work on the ground.
yeah,
The Million March, the women are mobilizing like the Amazons before, like the European women, like the Chinese women, like the Indian women, Africa's women and youth are getting up to the task to say we can start one time and we would do it. So I really want to thank you, Sister Queen, for taking so much time to be here, and you dedicate your time despite your work, despite every sacrifices that you're doing. You are talking to people on the street about African youths. You are talking to people in your community about the situation of us. You're talking to Africans, particularly that we can do it ourselves, that we organize or we perish. I want to
yeah.
thank you so much. And
Well,
we
thank
are at
you.
the end of this. And I want to keep reminding, if you're watching, to know that yes, officially, the Africa Festival in Tübingen officially was cancelled yesterday. We have 2 more days to sit again on the table and negotiate with the authorities of the Department of Law and Order in Germany to figure out a way. They are making proposals of it could take place in September, but which weekend in September and on what conditions. We are still going to break that in 2 days now. It means we would have been the second day into this festival and we would be getting onto the process. So we want to thank all of you for
Okay.
joining and asking you to continue to like, to subscribe, to share, to invite one another. You see, our voices are cracking up because we've been
Yeah.
in this battle, being shocked from everything that we've been doing. But we know that it's our time and we are made to make it. Thank you
Yes.
very much. One last word, my queen.
Well, I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be with you, and to be in your presence, because um, there's so much light coming from you, so much wisdom and directions of which way we should be going in this time, that I'm really very, very thankful. And that is the key to us. If we, as we say, that this project has already began. So as we begin to now collect that dollar, we are doing that. And you'll notice every time you collect a dollar, the joy that comes within. Every time that we collect a dollar, we'll be overjoyed that people are willing to give. And the more dollars we collect, the more joy we have. In fact, we're going to be walking around here glowing Africans, because we're going to be so filled with light and love. Okay. So this is, I say to all the people that's watching this show, send in your dollars, and then just thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your comments. Thank you for just giving us your time. We love you so much because without you all, we cannot do this. Okay, and we love you. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, thank you so much, sis. I think the next time, like you say, you're coming up with your senior executive women is gonna be really on the criterias and giving who to where, because we see like Bobby Nash is saying, I want to give $100. A lot of people are already talking about, yes, I want to help. We just want to know how. Who is going to be the captain on the ships? We need a clear plan, a roadmap. How do we mobilize ourselves? Who are the ones responsible for which communities? We're calling on the volunteers. You have
Yeah,
ideas, you have mind. These are just suggestions that we're making. These are
yeah.
strategies. These are way
Mhm.
forward. We have our brother Marvin that already created the $1 One Africa project. I mean, everything that I think we're basically asking has always been here. But
Yeah,
now we need people to come on board to volunteer to say, yes, I want to. I want to be a part. What role can I play?
yes,
Can I be a collector? Can I be in this? And we just want to trust ourselves. We don't
yeah,
want to look for a system where we'll start looking for people again to put in charge to control. We just want to do it in love and just
yeah.
say, yes, we are matured. We can do it. We trust one another and we want to move
They're
ahead
willing.
together.
There's so many willing people. There are so many willing people. Africans are not cold blooded. Africans need a chance. They need an opportunity to give and give freely. They will. I know that. I know that because African is a. It's not just the name African. African is a heart. It's a soul thing. So we already started it. So it's going to go. It's going to go, and it's going to go big and fast the way we need it to. We have the
Thank you so very much.
ancestors with us, and that's why you got this idea. You know, this is the way Africans always did. They took their their surroundings, the nature, the people. They were one. So that's why we, as you say, this is Bantu. That's where we're coming from. And that's what you have brought back to us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we thank all our audience that has connected. It is the spirit of love and unity and empowerment for one another, building the Africa that we want, but Africans can do it.
Yeah.
Every other nation has done it. Europe
Yes.
did it. Germany did it. China did it.
Yeah.
Japan is doing
Yes.
it. Dubai is doing it. Everyone is doing it. If they would just not put their foot and politics
Yeah.
in our way, we would have done it because we did it long time ago. But we are
Yes.
calling on collective, the minds of the collective, one help one, so that we can empower and enrich our people, particularly the young people on the continent, give them the possibility to build and own the continent. And us also going back to help our country and our continent is our goal by the end of this year. So thank you so very much. We
I
see
just
ourselves
wanted to
again.
I just wanted to say, give a shout out to the newspaper man here. He ran that ad, beautiful ad, with the flyer with the young boy on it. He had it in the Kaiserslautern American newspaper, and it
Okay.
was almost 200 euro. Do you know that he called me yesterday or the day before, and he's going to give me? He ran the ad, and he's going to give me the money back. So that's money that you'll be receiving at the end of this week for the young executives. What you know what to do with it. You know, he's giving us, and his name is our man, Derek. Derek, I don't know the last name, but our man. I just want to say thank you so much for what you've done.
Black Ravens, we also thank you for your super stickers for $20 tonight. And yes, we would start the mobilization and the fundraising live on the Pan African Daily anytime soon. So the more we get over with these events and distraction, the more we are focused to build our Africa that we want. And even our caravan is also going to go around, mobilizing Africans to actually get engaged in this movement that we have been empowered. So thank you all.
That's right.
Good night to all of you. And thank you for tuning in and tuning again tomorrow. We salute all of you. We love all of you. And one love for all of us. Okay. Without me, no you. Drink
That's right.
water and mind your African business. And remember,
Right.
Ubuntu,
Right on.
only Ubuntu is the spirit that is going to keep us as one. Thank you so much,
Mhm.
sis. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you, my
And good night.
sister.
Good night.
Good
Good
night.
night to all of us. Yes.
Good night to
Bye.
everyone. We love you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
You are watching the Pan African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tatah. The Africa we want: unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.